Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and especially merciful. Dear viewers across the planet, I greet you with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace be with you. Ameen. I'm reminding you of the beautiful names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. That's why we say the entirely merciful and specially merciful, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His mercy for all the creatures, for all humans, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, for all animals, for all insects, for everyone in the universe. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the same time, He has special mercy only for the believers, only for those who follow the commands of Almighty Allah and who obey Him and who submit themselves to Him. And this kind of mercy, special mercy, will be given to the believers only on the Day of Judgment. Dear viewers across the globe, welcome to this program that's called Treasures from the Holy Quran. And what we mean by treasures, we mean the ayat, the signs that are mentioned in the Quran, and all the Quran includes signs from Almighty Allah. Every part of it, any section, any ayah, any word, any verse in the Holy Quran is an ayah, is an evidence and a sign in itself that it is from Almighty Allah. Which, alhamdulillah, we have this kind of treasure. We consider it really treasure because in comparison with the knowledge that's available everywhere, there's nothing that can be compared with the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the exact words of Allah. And we do confess and we are thankful and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who guaranteed that this Quran will never ever change, and nothing has changed in it. So we guarantee that it's authentic knowledge that's needed by every human being. And again and again and again, we always focus on this Quran is not just for some humans and not the others, rather it is for all humans. And the evidence, you can track it by yourself. Look for the beginning of verses. In many verses, you'll find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, and others and that begin with, all you humans. So it addresses all humans, whoever they are, wherever they are, in all, everywhere they are, in all capacities. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing all humans. So it is for you. Don't say no. No, you have the evidence and you can get it by yourself. One of the things that we have observed in our life, throughout all my life, and you as well, I'm quite sure that we do things sometimes blindly, without knowing the rationale behind it. And most of the cases, we are following other people. Either those people are close and dear to us, like our parents, or people in our environment, people in our communities. We are imitating them, we are following them, because we think that because we share the same land, we should share the same culture. This is not correct. We can share the same land, yet we have different cultures as we have different beliefs. My belief is this and that. Your belief is different from my belief, because in your small culture, you had learned something from them that's different from the ones that I learned from my family, for example. We learn things. You learn something from the media, I learned something from the university, he learned something, and so on and so forth. We have different backgrounds, and it's impossible to have all humans having the same one. Yes, in the beginning, all of them, were one nation, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran in many places. Today we are going to examine something similar to this. Look at the messengers of Allah. They were at times, for example, some people around them or their environment would encourage people to worship idols. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself lived in an age and lived in a society and lived in an area that was famous for worshipping idols, idol worshippers, plenty of them. And when you ask them, why do you worship these idols? They say that basically we found our parents worshipping them, therefore we imitated our parents. That's why I always refer to this issue and say that most of the problems that we have nowadays, it's the result of imitating our parents, particularly our fathers. Therefore, we need to investigate. In science, and before science, when we see the approach and the methodology of the messengers of Allah, Ibrahim alayhi salam, Muhammad alayhi salam, and Musa alayhi salam, Jesus alayhi salam, all of them, they used to use different approach. They used to get their knowledge from Almighty Allah. And based on this pure, authentic knowledge, they used to behave and act. Now the Quran here tells us to be aware of this blind following, blind beliefs, blind anything. It's not good. Even it does not sound good to our ears. So we have to be very careful about these issues, because while you are doing something blindly, you are acquiring a lot of bad things without being fully conscious of what's happening. I'll give you one of the examples in the Quran that teaches us how to investigate these issues. Here in chapter number 7, Surah Al-A'raf, and this is ayah number 194 and 195. Let me first read them, and then I will put them in simple English so that we can share the knowledge and we can discuss it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. إن الذين تدعون من دون الله عباد أمثالكم فادعوهم فليستجيبوا لكم إن كنتم صادقين. ألهم أرجل يمشون بها أم أيد يبطشون بها أم لهم أعين يبصرون بها أم لهم آذان يسمعون بها قل ادعوا شركاءكم ثم كيدون فلا تنظرون. Simple translation of this. The ones that you call upon, the one you believe in, that they are your Lord, besides Allah. Anyone you call upon, anyone you believe in. So think of it. Who are the ones that you believe in, the one you call upon? Oh, do this to me. Oh, do this to me. Oh, Allah, oh, God, I need your help. Do this to me. Whomever you call God, which is between brackets, idols, and you think that those idols are God, call upon them. And if you examine them, they are slaves like you. They are creatures like you. They are created things like you. You are a creature. You had been created by Almighty Allah, and they had been creatures created by even some humans. To be sure of what you're doing, call upon them. Ask them if you are truthful. Direct your call to them. Do this to me. Help me in this. I ask you to do this. If you are truthful, they would respond to you. And you discover that this is true. I mean, they are just creatures. We created them. As Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu used to say that in our time of Jahiliyyah, time of ignorance, we used to make our idols from date, and we used to worship them. And this was so ugly. We didn't discover that. And even when we are hungry, we eat them. See how silly this is. You worship someone that you made by yourself, and then when you are hungry, you eat them. You are so weak. They are so weak. What kind of God is that? This is what Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu taught us. Then here, ask yourself these questions as the Quran says. أَلَهُمْ أَرْجُلٌ يَمْشُونَ بِهَا. These idols, do they have legs and they use them in walking? Or do they have hands that they can harm anybody by using it? Or do they have eyes that they can see and know what's going on around them? Or do they have ears to listen to you, and you still call them? You call them, but they don't have ears even. They are just idols. Don't you think? Have you ever thought of that? So call them. Call those so-called idols or gods and see if they can respond to you, if they can benefit you, if they can harm you. See by yourself. Try to put them to this examination. Examine that. Examine your belief to see whether you are doing something right or you are following blindly others, whether they are your relatives, your parents, your teachers, your culture. Sometimes you live in a culture that does this, that practices this. And this was what was happening at the time of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his life. Most of the people, if not 99% of the people around him, were worshipping idols blindly. They did not investigate this issue. And this happened at the same time with Ibrahim alayhi salam and with many other messengers. This was the default, a weakness of following blindly your culture, following blindly the people around you. And here, unless you investigate and you start asking questions, you will never reach the truth. If you don't ask yourself, they cannot even help themselves. We take them, we eat them, like Umar ibn Khattab. We design them. We are the one who build them. Then we break them and we reshape them. We are the ones who make them. Then after that, try to imagine that I believe in them, that they can do something superior, that they can benefit me or can harm me. Is it possible? Such kind of questions really will help you to go a little bit away from doing an act that is not meaningful at all. You discover that you had been doing something silly that's not even go through your mind. Yet, what prevents you, what stops you from continuing this issue? It's the culture. Because you see this day and night. If you go to this corner, if you go to this temple, if you go to this place, you find people, the majority of the people around you, and most of the people, they have weak personality. They love to go with the flow. Go with the flow. Go with the group. No. This does not make sense at all. It's not Islamically correct or even culturally correct to go with the flow. Allah created you equipped with this mind so that you can distinguish between what is correct and what's incorrect. Unfortunately now, for people who say that even politically correct, what is politically correct for this group is different from what is politically correct for the other group, because they have different norms and different standards. So even this statement needs to be investigated and verified. What does it mean to be politically correct? What does it mean to be culturally correct? What does it contradicts what I have in my mind. The standard that an average human being have, no, it does not make sense. Your response is that it does not make sense to worship someone who does not even have hands to cause harm or benefit to you. And it goes on and on and on. The more you ask these quality questions and you reflect upon the thing that you believe in, you will down the road definitely will be able to, with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you with, you are created with these qualities and skills that you are able to distinguish between the truth and the falsehood. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He gave you the ability to distinguish between the truth and the falsehood. Therefore, we all the time need guidance, and we have the guidance available for us. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala defined it in the Quran, in many places, in many locations in the Quran. Even the first page after the Fatiha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this book, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. This book is guidance. For the guidance, it is guidance for people who believe in it. And in another context, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, it is guidance for all mankind. So we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us these guidance, this kind of guidance for all of us. And it is for all humans, it's not for specific. So whenever you are in need of that, and I'm sure that you are, and I am, all the time, we keep consulting with this guidance so that we can protect ourselves from deviations and imitating others blindly. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.